Good morning, YouTube, and it is about 6:45 a.m. I've been working on ideas for making this video, and sometimes I feel like I'm doing the same video every day, but I use ChatGPT in order to create a lot of these videos, all of these videos, let's face it. And I was thinking about this late last night. I was probably heavily intoxicated, but I just asked ChatGPT to draw me what it thinks it looks like. So I asked it this exact question. Draw me what you think ChatGPT looks like. And you guys are seeing that image up on the screen right now, which I find fascinating because, and it has nothing to do with what it looks like, but it keeps repeating the same thing. Like, society's a trap. You're not supposed to get ahead, and you're going to have to figure out another way of making money other than hourly jobs, which seem to be the work of the guy downstairs with the pointy tail. It keeps making the same talking points, regardless of whatever transcript I put into this program. It continually tells me wage stagnation, high cost of rent, high cost of food, wages not keeping up with the cost of everything. And at the end of the day, the AI is saying we need a reset. We need to reset society so that it goes back to being something normal. Because what we're experiencing right now, what we've been experiencing after the pandemic, is not normal. And I feel like if we let them, if we let the system, if we let the corporations normalize having to work two retail jobs in order to not even scrape by, still needing another side hustle, because as I generated the script, because when I'm making these videos, I start out with the transcript, right? And then from the transcript, I tell it to make a title. From the title, I tell it to write a script. From the script, I tell it to rewrite the script several times, adding things like curiosity, adding things like be more human, adding things as write as a poor person. Once I get the script I want, then I create my talking points, and that's what I have up on the screen right now. But to get the same thing over and over and over again after doing this, I mean, I have almost 200 videos up and I feel like they're the same video every single day. That's why I stick these goofy, whatever you guys are seeing in the background, it hasn't been created yet. So I put those in there just to add to the overall eerie nature of what it's like to live right now in a world where you can't just go find a job. And my ultimate person that I use for this is the receptionist girl number one at the gym, not number two with the eyes, but number one, which is a very humble little person who went to school for 7 years. She makes minimum wage. She's sitting at the receptionist desk right now, making minimum wage, waiting for that 4 hour shift to end, making her way to her next job, working at the salon for another 8 hours, and then after that, going to teach at community college at night, and still going back home to live with their parents so she can save money to try to buy her own home before her parents are gone, because her parents are really old, like in their 80s old. And I don't know what to think. Like the average person, like salon girl number two, well, I was talking to her yesterday. She makes $300 a week. She went to trade school, everyone out there. She learned how to do certain procedures that you would do in a salon, like working the different machines that do things. And she's just not making it. And I look at my uh, other acquaintances and I see them unemployed, working in call centers, working in grocery stores, working in a therapy office. all making minimum wage or higher. It's $20 and below, when that's not enough money to survive with the amount of inflation, the amount of increases in the overall cost of basic living. Because as I mention all of the time, the quality of life for us right now is abysmal. I just ate a piece of leftover fried chicken from yesterday. I'm not feeling it. That was it was gross, but it's what we can afford. Like I mention this often enough, but sometimes when I think about it, I think about you sharing a can of dog food with your dog, right? Where you give your dog 25% of the can and you eat 75% of the can. And the dog looks at you like, I used to get the whole can. And you're like, yeah, but times are tough. And so I can't share, you can't have the whole can anymore. And the dog just looks at you and it doesn't understand. And the look from the dog to the human being not understanding why they can't have the whole can of dog food is the way that I look at the current system. Why do I only get 25% of the can anymore, corporate America? Why am I being forced to live on 25% of what I used to get? It's not normal for a system to not create a clear path to a job that pays your bills, to a job that leads to home ownership, that leads to job stability. We shouldn't all live in constant fear of losing our crummy job. I have been sitting here for weeks now wondering when things were going to get really bad for me. Because every day I go onto the thing that's supposed to give us work and there's no work. It feels like the only places that are hiring are the minimum wage places. And there's a guy across the street from where I currently live that was working in the deli as an 80-year-old man that can't afford to retire. And I see him pushing shopping carts. I see that guy falling down in that parking lot. And that's going to be his legacy to the world. Because you can tell that he's tired. You can tell that he's seen too many winters and that he still has to work. And that's where we're all heading as a society if we don't change it. If we don't demand more from a society that wants to offer us 25% of the dog food, then we're not going to make it. So I don't understand why Gen Z, why millennials, why every person who isn't making it isn't out in the street right now, angry, mad as hell, and not going to take this anymore, because at no point did I sign up to only get 25% of the can of dog food. And with that said, that was the opening monologue. Today's talking points are going to be the rigged system, the survival mindset, a generation of change. So let's get into it. Hopefully I can make a little longer video since I go on a vacation tomorrow, but I think I'm working from home today. So far, it looks that way. All right, so let's get into our first talking point. Question whether society systems, housing, education, and employment are truly designed to help individuals succeed or keep them treading water. I'm going to go with keeping them treading water. Our system right now is designed for you to keep the lights on in your apartment, but not the heater. There's always a trade-off. You want to eat every day, you're going to have to skip something else. Want to pay rent, you're going to have to skip a car payment. You want to pay the car payment, you're going to have to skip the credit cards. You were just treading water. I mean, we're just sitting there, we're just waiting for something bad to happen, for the shark to come up underneath us and just take us. Because we're not getting close to land. We're not shifting from being in survival mode to just treading water in an open ocean where there's no clear path towards something better. You're just out in the middle of nowhere, No land in sight, no boats coming to save you. It's just you treading water in an economy, in a job economy that's designed to keep you that way. Because I haven't seen a good job posted to Indeed in my entire life, at least not one that I could qualify for. And so, therefore, this perpetual cycle of entry level jobs, of minimum wage jobs, the MIC paycheck every other week, and you have real adult bills. That's the my biggest problem with society right now. There are big boy bills that need to be paid with little boy paychecks. So you try to figure out how you're going to make the MIC paycheck cover adult adult living, right? You're talking mortgages, car payments, education, luxury food at the Kroger's, because I don't understand how food became so expensive. How we didn't boycott the food distribution system in America, because this is impossible. And also the low quality product that we're expected to pay luxury prices for. And that's not just food. That's where we can afford to live. These are the types of jobs we can afford to get. Because someone put in the comments yesterday that I should get a shirt that says, I can't afford to work here. And that's just nearly every proletariat person in America right now. I can't afford to work here. And that was my initial thought when I started working for Walmart. I can't afford to work here when it costs me 85% of my monthly income just to pay rent. Where am I supposed to find the rest of the money to pay my other bills? Well, if you look at the system, you're not supposed to have those other bills. All you're supposed to do is sit in a room and wait for something to get better, to stop treading water and start making it. But as I've gotten older and older, and I've noticed that this is a ridiculous pattern my whole life, that we only have access to the lowest tier jobs. When you can walk into a company and they will offer you $25,000 a year for a full time job, that's impossible. That's a McDonald's wages for an adult job. And again, what are they trying to do? Normalize it. Normalize these poor, pathetic wages and make you seem like you're the ungrateful person for not taking that job. When that lady in that video that I showed yesterday asked this guy, and at $40,000 to me is nothing. When you ask a person for $40,000 a year for a full time job and they say that's almost twice as much as we want to pay, what you're saying is that you don't want a competent person in that position. And what do they turn around and say to you? No one wants to work anymore. That's always the classic response. It's like everyone has to start out at the bottom. Well, why do we have to stay at the bottom? I spent my whole life working since I was a teenager, and I've stayed at the bottom. I went to college. I tried to learn as much as I could, and this was something that ChatGPT added into the script. Was it wrote the script from the perspective of a 23-year-old recent college grad that's not making it, and in it, it put that after working in retail in the morning and warehouse in the afternoon, this person would have enough energy to come home at night and teach themselves how to do graphic design. My only problem with teaching yourself how to do things, because I've had to teach myself all of this on how to work ChatGPT. Before my last channel got demonetized, I knew absolutely zero about using ChatGPT for anything. ChatGPT and AI were buzzwords that I heard in the media talking about how they were going to automate all of these jobs, but I never realized how powerful it was. to generate images, titles, ideas, talking points, hashtags, descriptions, artwork. I mean, even to the point where it discusses with you back and forth what you're trying to do and does it for you. In fact, yesterday while I was at the gym, there were two bros right behind me that were both business majors. And one of the guys says to the other guy, it's like, yeah, I'm just going to use Chat GPT to do my finance homework tonight. And I was like, wow, now that is incredible. Rather than having to look, going to college, paying all this money to learn, and just copying out, letting Chat GPT do your homework for a degree that you're probably not going to be able to use. That blew me away. Anyhow, getting back to the skills thing. So I've had to teach myself all of these things about using ChatGPT because, frankly, when you're learning something on your own, it's either going to be at night or on the weekends. And usually, if you're a person that's down and out, nights and weekends are times that you have to be at work anyway. So this whole idea of upskilling yourself while being part of the proletariat, it makes me laugh because when I think of upskilling yourself, learning graphic design in your spare time, in my own mind, I think this: there's someone who went to school for 4 years to learn how to do graphic design, and you think that you're going to learn enough of a particular skill by doing it in your spare time when you feel like it. Remember, you have to compete for jobs with those people, the people who have professional degrees in those areas. That's why when people ask me in the comments, it's like, well, millennials team, what, you know all of this stuff about AI now. Why don't you use it to get a better job? Because there are literally people, there are millions of people, maybe not millions, but a lot of people out there who know 1,000 times more about using this program than I do. I couldn't just walk into a business and tell them, it's like, I do a YouTube channel where I generate AI thumbnails every day with some chick because I don't know what else to put in my thumbnails, honestly. I can put furry little animals, but I mean, humans are furry little animals too. Anyhow, getting to my second talking point before I run out of time here. Discuss the creative ways Gen Z is making ends meet, from side hustles to remote work and learning skills online. I didn't realize this was a talking point, or else I would have incorporated it into my last section of talking. But uh, making ends meet from side hustles. So when I ask people what side hustles are, most of the side hustles that I hear, the most common ones, are food delivery and rideshare programs, right? Everyone's Ubering, everyone's trying to do Amazon Flex, where you work for them part time and on the weekends. Remote work, I am not exactly certain what that would be, other than today I'm working from home while they fix the office, and I could do my entire job from home. The only reason I don't is because my boss thinks they have this a mandate that I heard about yesterday afternoon where they want more people in the office. And in my opinion, the only reason they want more people in the office is because they're paying for expensive office space that nobody wants to use. So these offices, just like a few years ago, are sitting completely empty. When I drive to work, there are corporate buildings all along the street as I get to my job. And my job, it seems to have the most people in the parking lot. At the last building that was being leased for my current job, you'd look around at all the other buildings around us. There was 4 or 5 in the same industrial park. And our building had the only one that had a full parking lot because all your customers have to come in to the parking lot. They really don't want you learning from home uh, for something like this. It's a hands-on trade. So that was the only reason we had a lot of people in the parking lot. But all the other buildings looked abandoned. Parking garages completely empty, or signs for sale, or buildings falling apart. And this whole idea of having people um, learning skills online, like, During the pandemic, I'll tell you guys this much is I bought a camera, a big expensive Sony Alpha camera, and I was watching Skillshare videos on photography. I did that a lot. Did I become uh did I generate enough skills? Did I build enough skills into my skill tree, for a better word, on using the camera to become a professional photographer? No, because the need wasn't there. And so this whole idea of learning skills online, I've tried that. I don't think that it's a viable way to be competitive in a workplace, that it's extremely competitive to get good jobs. So I don't believe in that learning skills online. Did I learn? Yes. Did I learn enough to be successful? No. All right, my final talking point here is going to be pose the question: is Gen Z the reset generation that will challenge and rebuild a system that failed them? I hope so. Honest to God, as much as Gen Zero gets grief from my channel, I hope that this is what they have to do to rebuild a system that's failed them. Because it's not only failed Gen Z, it's failed Gen Z pretty hard. But millennials got hit pretty hard as well. And everyone out there who's looking for a job right now, who's taken that fast food job, or taken that warehouse job, or taken that retail job, that's in their mid 20s right now and wondering, when is this horrible nightmare going to end? This is what we need. We need a reset generation. We need to rebuild a system that's failing. It didn't fail as in completely fail, but it's failed most of us. And the only way to do better as a society is to reset the system. And that means taking Fleece, putting him in a cage somewhere where he can be by himself, and letting us reset the way that corporate America treats workers, prioritizing, putting people first and corporations second, because that's the only way that things are going to get better for us.